This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for
December 16th, 2023.
And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more.
Durbin defends Epstein. Epstein did not kill himself. This meme is not meant to immortalize the world's most prolific pedophile, but to point out that he has done such deplorable things that need to be brought to light. If President Trump's name was on that list, said list would have been released the next day. Senator Blackburn made a motion in the Judiciary Committee to release the names. The chair is a Democrat named Dick Durbin who has decided that the names need to be kept secret. Not only did he block the motion, but when confronted he played dumb as if he had never heard of it before. Durbin not only wants everyone on that list to get away without consequences, he wants to ensure that none of the victims ever get justice. However, is that enough corruption for Durbin? Not in the least. Illegals in the military. After this, he decided that illegals need to start joining the military. He cites that the military is not able to meet its recruitment goals. I turn your attention to the right side of your screen to know why. These people broke in illegally, and since there are people being caught that are on the terror watch list, we honestly have no clue who is coming in. Do you think that the average American could tell the difference between a Palestinian that is speaking Spanish and a Venezuelan who is speaking Spanish? Our enemies know that the southern border is porous. We know that there are Chinese biolabs on our soil and men of military age are coming in. In the event of a war, they will side with their own country rather than America. You have heard that reality is predicted by art, I suppose.
After the war, SHIELD was founded, and I was recruited. The new Hydra grew, a beautiful parasite inside SHIELD.
Alex Jones is back. He is back and better than ever. After being banned by Twitter under the former leadership for confronting a reporter over censorship, Elon Musk finally let the man back on. This is just as scary for the fake news as President Trump being a nominee for president. Not only has Jones been calling things out left and right, his batting average is almost perfect. Elon Musk also restored the page of InfoWars and the accounts of his staff. Will this be enough to save Twitter after the purposeless mass exodus of advertisers?
Only Poppins would know.
However, Elon Musk has other problems to deal with. Pulling Tesla cars is not news. 2 million Tesla cars were recalled due to a defect in the autopilot system. Now, this honestly should really not be news, but here we are. Things break down or do not work as planned every day. However, anytime that something with SpaceX, Twitter, or Tesla goes wrong, the media has to cover every single detail of the failure. Is this because they are trying to shed light on things? No, they just want to tarnish Elon Musk's reputation. Now, like his rocket that misfired not too long ago, I am sure that this is going to cost Tesla a pretty penny. However, would there be this much coverage if Elon Musk was never involved with Twitter? Of course not. They might make a passing remark and move on to something else. Speaking of which, let's move back to Twitter for a moment. IBM's blatant anti-Whitism. You might be wondering what the anti-Whitism of IBM has to do with Twitter. Remember how they pulled their ads from the site after the false claims that both Musk and the site were racist?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Now we have learned through OMG News that the company wants to designate hiring based on melanin concentration. Not only are they keeping those of European descent out, they are keeping those of Asian descent out. Those who do not comply will have their bonuses restricted. America First Legal is pushing back on them for their discrimination. Remember when Harvard and a bunch of these other colleges decided that they would not let in certain ethnic groups?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
They were sued for what they did as well, resigning after her racism. University of Pennsylvania's president Liz McGill resigned from her post in shame as a result of the hearings on Capitol Hill. Remember, this is a woman who said that calls for genocide might be free speech under the right circumstances. Imagine if there were calls for racist attacks against blacks. No one would be looking at the context. They would be looking at the fact that there were calls for a violent attack. Same thing here, and the context is just as irrelevant. These schools are indoctrination camps to create Democrats. It is no wonder that this all happened in one such camp. She and Claudine Gay deserve all of the hate that is coming to them. Speaking of Miss Gay, plagiarism is a serious offense. Harvard's President Claudine Gay faces calls to resign over her alleged plagiarism. First of all, compared to condoning actual genocide, this is a minor thing. Remember, this is a woman who said that calls for genocide might be free speech under the right circumstances. Imagine if there were calls for racist attacks against gays. No one would be looking at the context. They would be looking at the fact that there were calls for a violent attack. Same thing here, and the context is just as irrelevant. However, something tells me that the fact that this just happened to come up at the same time means that someone was sitting on this, waiting to pull it out. In other words,
there's something awfully screwy going on around here.
President Trump's popularity. The liberal media cannot or will not understand why Trump has so much popularity. All of the other Republican candidates are polling in the low double digits. I think the highest is at 12 to 14%, whereas President Trump is at or around 50%. What does this mean for GOP leadership? They can either unite behind someone who has united the party, or they can stand with the deep state. If you ask me, it is not that hard of a choice. Moving on, the fake news is in full-on panic mode because they think that President Trump could win a second time.
One can only hope.
We will see what happens, but I will get lots of liberal tears. Brandon's lack of popularity. Hunter Biden is being subpoenaed on federal tax charges, and the fake news is telling their viewer about it for the first time. When President Trump's tax records were leaked, it was all the media could talk about. We also learned from President Trump that a judge can decide how much you owe, not based on the value that the bank or any other financial group put on it, but based on the vast knowledge of real estate that the judge has. We are told by liberals that we need to pay our taxes for all of the government programs. Granted, half of them are redundant and oppressive, whereas the other half are useless and unconstitutional. If his last name were not Biden, he would not have gotten away with this for as long as he did. Food insecurity nonsense. Have you ever bought something cheaper because you could not afford what you wanted? If you answered yes, that means you are food insecure in one of the richest countries on earth. A large portion of that is thanks to Bidenomics, but that is another topic for another day. However, there is a flip side to this in that people on welfare are more obese according to the same study. Officially, this is because snacks are cheaper. I think the reason is that they use their money to buy snacks and use welfare for food, instead of starting with their own money and then buying the rest with their welfare. I am not against helping the poor, but there is no oversight. I have seen people buy cakes, beer, and cigarettes, then buy food with welfare. If you have enough money for cake, beer, or cigarettes, you have enough money to buy food. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.